Colt Brennan has one of the most interesting and honestly tragic football stories of any player that doesn't involve loss of life. Searching the internet, as with almost any topic, there's a ton of mixed feelings on Colt. To some, he's a college football superstar who had one of the worst strings of bad luck ever documented in college football. To others, he's a loser, a punchline for guys who didn't pan out in the NFL. Funny thing is, I've never seen a guy who actually has had success in the NFL belittle guys who didn't. So most of these people talking crap probably haven't had any NFL success either, or college success for that matter. So it's just interesting when they shoot these shots. Anyway, I think the main issue is that people don't really have all the facts. And honestly, the facts are a bit skewed in this case. A lot of it is Colt's words versus someone else's. And I'm a realist, and I don't believe that Colt was an angel who never did anything wrong, yet had every bad circumstance in the world just hunt him down. I also don't believe he was somebody who was the absolute worst and deserved the hand that he was dealt. And I genuinely felt bad for this guy as I researched this story. So however you feel about Colt Brennan, sit back, listen to the story, listen to the facts, and then at the end of it, form your opinion. Please, please, please leave your comments in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe if you're brand new. My name is FlemLo Raps, and let's get started. Colt Brennan was playing Pop Warner football when he was 10 years old and immediately showed flashes of his talent. He attended Modern Day High School in California, where he played behind Heisman Trophy winner Matt Leinart. When Brennan was a sophomore, he actually took the second team players and faced off against Matt Leinart and the starters in a scrimmage. To everybody's surprise, Colt was able to lead that group of reserves to a victory. And honestly, this is all I can find from Colt's high school career, aside from the fact that he was a pretty good basketball player, and he played on the basketball team as well. Matt Leinart, Matt Barkley, and many others are listed on Modern Day's site as All-American. Dig a little deeper, All-County, All-Conference. No Colt Brennan on there to be found. What do I take from this? He either didn't play much or he didn't play well. Moving on. Now, after graduating Modern Day, Colt had a postgraduate year, which I didn't know existed, and he attended a private day boarding school in Massachusetts, where he did start as QB. His primary receivers was David Ball, who would go on to break Jerry Rice's record for touchdown receptions in Division I AA football. Another of his receivers was Carl Elliott, the former starting point guard on George Washington's basketball team. Random facts that have nothing to do with the story. In 2003, he walked onto the team at the University of Colorado, and the next year is where Colt's story starts to get interesting. In 2004, while attending the University of Colorado, Colt Brennan was accused of entering a room of a female student. She says he was uninvited. He says he was invited up. She says he exposed himself and fondled her. He says that didn't happen. According to reports though, Colt was intoxicated at the time and arrested and eventually convicted of felony burglary charges and trespassing. He served 1 week in jail along with probation until he graduated from college. So he couldn't get off probation until he got a college degree. The guilty verdict for unlawful sexual contact was vacated completely by the court for lack of evidence. Now, at the same time, Colorado was receiving accusation of wild recruiting parties and sex crimes involving multiple of their athletes. So of course, Colt was released from the team. I mean, he wasn't starting, he walked on, he was expendable, and Colorado was dealing with a lot, so they let him go. Now, Colt denied all the charges and took a lie detector test ordered by the court, and he passed. He used those results to convince the president at a community college called Saddleback College to allow him to play there. So later that same year, 2004, Colt helped lead that team to a conference championship. He won State Offensive Player of the Year and First Team All-American. He got scholarship offers from Syracuse and San Jose State. But Coach June Jones, whose recruiting points was obviously maxed out, convinced Colt to walk on. He left those 2 scholarship offers and walked on at Hawaii. This is where the Colt Brennan legacy takes off. In 2005, he started 10 games for Hawaii, and he tied or broke 11 school records. He led the country in total yards and TDs thrown with 4,455 yards and 35 touchdowns. He just exploded, bro. Remember I said he started 10 games? Well, in 9 of them, he went over 300 yards passing. In 4 of those, he went over 400 yards, and he had one 500-plus yard game with 7 touchdowns. In 06, he came in as the man, was on multiple watch lists, and then he did something unbelievable. He led the nation in scoring and passing efficiency. So wait, you score the most and you're the most efficient with the football? Props, bruh. The NCAA record for passing touchdowns in a season is 54. That year in the regular season, Colt Brennan threw for 53, one short. So when the bowl game rolled around, you already know what time it is, man. He threw for 5 touchdowns just to be safe and broke the single season touchdown record. That year, Hawaii was 11-3 and second in the WAC behind Boise State, of course. Brennan finished 6th in the Heisman voting with a stat tally of 5,549 yards and 58 touchdowns, both school records by the way, to go along with the highest passer efficiency rating in the country. Later that night, Coach June Jones boasted that Colt Brennan was the best quarterback in the country. And he wasn't the only one that felt that way, had he left school after his junior season. But Colt decided to return for his senior year, and this honestly didn't work out so well. Not that he didn't play great, because he played amazing, man. He broke more records, beat the defending WAC champion, and then ranked number 17 Boise State, beat Washington in the last game of the season, and finished 12-0. Hawaii finished with a number 10 ranking, but this is kind of where stuff starts to go downhill a little bit. They had to play Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, and Georgia was able to get pressure on the QB while only rushing 3 D linemen. They dropped 8 in coverage, and when the game started, Colt had the all-time passer efficiency rating. When the game ended, he no longer had that mark. Hawaii lost 41-10, and Colt was later quoted saying that this isn't how I wanted my career to end. Colt finished 3rd in the Heisman ranking that year, and he would end his Hawaii career with 14,193 yards, 131 touchdowns, and 31 NCAA records, which had to be a record in itself. This is where it gets crazy. Colt would see his draft stock take a nosedive with that poor performance in the Sugar Bowl, a poor Senior Bowl showing, and at the Senior Bowl, he suffered a torn labrum. Then he had a great showing at the NFL Combine, but at his pro day, he revealed that he had been scheduled for surgery. You talking about a roller coaster ride, bro? Well, now he did get drafted, but in the 6th round by the Redskins. But when he got on the field in the preseason, he had a lot of experts at the time call his debut the greatest rookie quarterback debut ever. In the Hall of Fame preseason game, it was like he was back at Hawaii. Dude went 9 for 10 for 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. In another preseason game versus the Jets, he went 4-5 for 79 yards in a game-winning touchdown. Boy was balling. He was ready. He finished the preseason with 411 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. Completed 67% of his passes. Like, college wasn't no fluke. Now, it was just the preseason. And if you subscribe to the he's playing backups religion, then you should also admit that, he's playing with backups as well. That gotta count for something. He led all the 2008 NFL rookies in touchdown passes, passing yards, and QBR through the whole preseason. Also, I forgot to mention he ran twice for 11 yards just to show him the hip was good. Alright, despite a great preseason, the Redskins had just drafted Jason Campbell a few years earlier, and he started all 16 games that year. The next year, Colt suffered another hip injury similar to the one from college and pulled his hamstring, which was likely tight due to him putting more pressure on one side of his body due to his surgically repaired hip. Overcompensation happens with athletes all the time. It's not something that you're conscious of. Anyway, this ended his 2009 season before it could really start. The next year, probably concerned with Brennan's physical health, the Redskins traded for John Beck and then released Colt, just like that. A few days later, he signed with the Raiders, but was cut a month later. Then, bro, things got worse. Colt was a passenger in a really bad car crash. It left him with broken ribs, collarbone, and a scar on his brain. Alright, after the wreck, he woke up a week later and was quoted saying that he was now a different person. He suffered traumatic brain injury in an area that makes you impulsive and emotional. It's not over. After that, Colt joined the team in the UFL, but the league suspended operations for that entire organization, so there was no more team. That team was just gone, and none of the other teams picked him up, so yeah, that happened. Then on to the CFL. Colt was gonna finally get another chance to shine. They brought him in to be the starter, no questions asked. The team also signed JT O'Sullivan, also another former NFL quarterback, to come in and be the backup. But he took the starting spot from Colt, and then Colt got cut yet again. Later that year, he was arrested for suspicion of driving under the influence and third-degree promotion of a dangerous drug. His blood alcohol level was 0.17%, more than twice the legal limit for driving a vehicle. He was charged with drunk driving, but was not charged for the cocaine residue found in a plastic packet in the car. Now, it was a rental car. It says that he didn't know that was there. I can't imagine how this man must have felt at this point in his life. And before y'all be so judgmental, man, really put yourself in this man's shoes. That's all I'm gonna say. Really put yourself in his shoes, man. Now, in the year 2013, he was assigned to the LA Kiss in the Arena Football League. My guy just wanted to get back on the field at this point. But the team had to cut him after he was diagnosed with a brain injury that was caused from that wreck a few years earlier. Apparently, it wasn't safe for him to play, and the neurologist did not want to clear him because if something did go wrong, obviously that's going to fall back on it. You feel me? The most recent thing I could find was last year in 2016. Colt joined the, please let me get this name right, the Maunalua High School as the quarterback's coach. And as of right now, that is the story of Colt Brennan. At this point, I think it's good that Colt is around football. He really does seem to love the sport. I hope he's still with that team, and if he is, if somebody knows like a little bit more information, hit me up in the comment section. I dug all around the internet for this stuff, but it's possible that I missed something. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video with your friends, and leave a like. My name's FlemLo Raps 1.